All right, welcome back to another episode of the JT Exchange podcast, where we fill you in on that all SU Track and Field. Today I'm joined by the OGs. We got Coach Weir here. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How you doing?
I'm doing great. And Coach Showstead, how are you?
Fantastic over here. How are you doing?
You sound like you're losing your voice a little bit.
It's the water I had. I don't know. Yogurt.
I think this is the first time the three of us have gotten together since we did the test, maybe. Did we do one other one, I think?
We did indoor champs, right?
That was Coach Euler was with us, though.
Yeah.
So it was,
I'm
saying
just
just
three of us.
the three amigos.
I think it's been a while since the three of us have done it, yeah.
Just the three amigos. But got a good show for you guys today. We're going to get into a recap of the weekend. It was another fun April weekend where we're 2 days in a row all over the place. You know, we traveled some people to Moravian Friday night. Some people stayed, some people came back. Most of the team went to Moravian on Saturday, and then Coach Showstead took another small group of throwers up to Misericordia. So people all over central Pennsylvania. Overall, I think it was a good weekend. We're going to go over, personal best, some of the highlights from the weekend, and then we'll kind of look ahead to this week and a little bit into next. But I guess let's start with Friday night. So Friday night, Coach Euler, Coach Showstead took a van with hammer shot putters down to Moravian. And what can you share about that?
Yeah, I mean, overall, weather was kind of iffy at some points, but shot put went fantastic. I think almost everybody either had a personal best or season best, and if not, then they had their most consistent series ever, or one of their best series ever. Highlights are probably Kieran. He had almost a meter PB all time, indoor and outdoor, which is great. He's moving himself up the list. Cole's getting a lot more consistent. A lot of the women too, Kira finally back up over into the 11s, all-time PR. So lots of highlights there, which is fantastic.
Yeah, there's some fun events that also occurred there. I know there was a little snafu with the hammer net, which took 40 minutes, and then there was an incident with a little bit of a rain delay.
Yeah, so first for me, I've never heard of a rain delay for throwing before ever, but they delayed it by an hour, 40 minutes or something for that too. So
yeah, and I know with the hammer cage snafu, basically an athlete threw it into the hammer, and I think it was right before Kieran or Cooper was supposed to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically he had to wait 45 minutes plus for him to take his throw, which is tough. You take all this time to warm up, and then, you're not able to. And then as we transitioned throughout the night, the women ended up, I guess, because of the weather, they were afraid they were going to get done, even though they had lights. So the women didn't get warm-ups, which I've always wondered, because throwers always get a personal best in warm-ups, always. And then the meet comes, and then they just don't put it together. So we kind of tested that. It didn't work out exactly the way we thought. But all in all, I think Friday night was a decent day, especially for shot put. I think hammer across the board was a little down, not just for us, but for a lot of other teams.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, Coach Showstead came back, was able to sleep in a couple hours later on Saturday morning, but he paid for it later on, which we'll get to. And then Saturday, we'll stick with the throws for now. I know Coach Showstead took a small group up to Misericordia, but down at Moravian, discus and javelin, we had a few more personal bests, in the discus throw. Javelin, I think Brooke threw well. Ainsley got into the regional qualifying mark as well, which was good. Men's side wasn't exactly what we wanted. I think a little bit of the marbling in the runway had a little bit of an effect. Kira, again, had a huge PR in the discus. Rebecca finally got over that hump. She got a lifetime best in the discus throw as well. And I'm not sure. I think that's it for the throws PRs down at Moravian.
Cooper too.
Cooper,
okay, yep, as well. So a decent day for the throws. We'll finish out the throws up at Miz. I know it was a long afternoon for you.
It was a long night, but overall, performance-wise, fantastic. First time I've ever thrown hammer or actually gone to a Twilight meet, so that was fun. All the kids seemed to like it. They had light towers for it, but pretty much everybody got a PR or a season best for hammer, which was great. A couple PRs in shot, or season best in shot rather, and then lots of disc PRs from the women especially. I think Carter and Jeremy both had disc PRs as well.
Yeah, I think it's great that we, we're able to give them this opportunity, I thank you. I know it's a lot of driving. For those of you that don't know, April is a terrible month for outdoor track and field coaches.
Yes.
We spend a lot of time at meets just trying to chase good weather. But all in all, I think the throws group did extremely well, which is great. 2 weeks out from champs, I think the momentum's rolling. We're definitely trending in the right direction. And then on the track side of things, we took a lot of people to Moravian. I moved some things around to get as many people that were healthy to travel as possible. And it worked out really well. For the weekend, we had 44 personal bests overall, which is huge.
Yeah, it was a very good weekend for us, all things considered.
Yeah, and not just, obviously throws did really, really well. Kendall Sims continued her dominance in the pole vault. She broke her own school record once again. I think Seth Taub tied his personal best in the pole vault. On the jump side of things, we had some decent performances. I know Austin came back from injury, got a decent mark. Wasn't quite what he wanted, but I'm very happy with it. Elijah put out a really big jump in prelims. Unfortunately, he did foul it by, he always foul the big ones. But it's good that he's starting to look good. I think he had a personal best in the triple jump, which was cool. Liam was close in the triple as well. And then overall, it was a decent day for the jumps. I wouldn't say it was anything outstanding, but it was a decent day. Distance-wise, the 5K crew continued to do really well. Hunter started off the meet with a massive PR in the 5K. Really excited for him. I know he's worked really hard, over the offseason and this whole year to get to where he is. He was pumped. He started off the day with some, great momentum for us. Women's side, I think Riley was a little upset. She did PR still, but she missed going under 20, but I think it was like 2 seconds.
2 seconds, yeah.
Jess PR'd, and then, basically Evander had a decent PR in the 1500. He broke, 2 minutes in the 800 again. And then I think, Sydney, Ayla, they both PR'd in the 15. And then we've got Hope, Aubrey, Calder all had PRs in the 800 as well. Some of the mid-distance guys had some PRs in the 400. Jack Compton finally had a good PR in the 800 as well. But why don't you run me through sprints, hurdles, how their day went?
I think overall, same kind of thing as we're seeing in the other events. Very good performances. I think almost everybody across the board either had a season best or a PR, which is, really good to see. We've talked the last couple of times about, we're pushing the kids very hard, and I think that, we're still on the tail end of that heavy training block, especially when you're looking at a lot of our regional qualifiers and potential national qualifiers. We're looking, I think, 4 weeks out now, 4.5 weeks out, give or take. So, we're still pushing them very hard, and to see the number of season bests and the number of PRs is very encouraging from that group. Owen had a phenomenal day, PR'd both in the 100 and the 200. Got a good sub 10.9 in that 100, which I know he's really been looking for the last couple months. Right on the cusp of breaking 22, which I know is another big goal for him. And then some guys that, are coming back from some injuries that we've been dealing with. You mentioned Austin had a great day in the long jump. He had a really good 200. It was relatively close to a PR for him, so that was really good encouraging to see how he's progressing coming back from that hamstring. Jordan was another one. He was within 1/10 of a second of a 100 PR, and I think that's maybe the second or third time he's raced, so that's really good to see him kind of getting back in the swing of things. And I think that it's just really encouraging when you start to look at, who we're going to put in what for conference, seeing the depth in some of those events. It's really, really encouraging to see, we've got a lot of guys, right on the border of getting into finals right now on paper. So that's really encouraging to see. But I think we had a really good performances across the board. Hurdles weren't quite as good as we've had in the past.
Some weird things happen.
Yeah, so hurdles just being hurdles. Sometimes things don't go the way you want when you're trying to navigate barriers, especially 42 inches for the men. That's things can happen, little mistakes can happen. But I think the guys are definitely starting to see the progress and starting to see the end results. So they're they're getting kind of motivated. They're ready for those big competitions, whether we're looking at conference, regionals, nationals, all those kind of things.
Yeah, I think, overall, sprinters had a sneaky good day, especially on the women's side.
Yeah.
We had a lot of PRs from the women 100 and 200 runners. Alyssa actually PR'd in both the 100 hurdles and 400 hurdles.
Yes.
I know Tiefers might show otherwise, but we know their sinus time actually isn't what she ran. But so this was a legit, 15, I don't know, was it 15.7?
15.72, and that put her 7th.
Yeah.
All time for us, so that was great to see.
And I know her favorite event is the 400 hurdles, so she was excited to to PR in that as well.
Yep.
I'm kidding, she hates it. But like Frankenfield, he PR'd in the 2 as well. And
Yes.
then someone that didn't PR but kind of had a breakout performance was Aiden. He's kind of been struggling a little bit in the 400. I was happy to see him kind of get back at it. Kind of. I think the 100, boosted his confidence.
Yes, it did.
He did PR in the 100.
Yes.
Which is great. He's got some speed, but overall, it was a very good day.
Yeah.
I don't think. One highlight would be Sophia Bostwick, Andrew Hoke. They both ran their first steeplechases. Sophia ended up being the top time in the conference.
Yeah.
I think she's 5th all time.
That sounds right.
4th or 5th all time, and then Andrew Hilk. He ran it for the first time ever, not really having a lot of barrier experience.
Yeah.
Definitely was figuring some things out. And I think he's 11th, maybe 9th or 11th in the conference, which is awesome.
Yeah.
He's going to learn how to run it a little bit better. Hopefully at conferences, maybe puts himself in a place to score some points. So really happy overall. It was a very long couple days.
Yes.
I know, specifically Moravian, I left my house at 6:30 in the morning on the motorcycle, hoping it was going to be, a nice, beautiful ride home. And then I get there, and I don't leave till a little after 8. It's dark, and riding the turnpike on a bike isn't that much fun. But, we had a great day.
Yeah.
All across the board. Misericordia, very happy with the performances out of there. So it was a great weekend overall, and we're really happy. Going to continue to get some people back from injuries as we move through this week. I know some of the jumpers, some of the sprinters that have been out for a little while are starting to make their way back, which is nice. So we're going to head to Juniata. Juniata hasn't hosted a meet under the new coaching staff, so this would be a good opportunity for them to kind of see how it rolls for them and, iron out any kinks, because in 2 weeks they're hosting champs. Well, not even 2 weeks. We're at a week and a half now.
Week and a half, yeah.
So it's going to come quick. So we're going to send a small group down there. I know Coach Showstead, we're going to send a good amount of throwers, kind of let them feel out what the circles feel like so they feel more confident going into champs. Is there any one in particular you're excited to see throw this weekend, Coach?
No, I'm excited to see everybody. I mean, the throws conference this year has gotten a lot more competitive. Especially when you're looking at men's and women's discus. It's just going to be interesting to watch every event. So everything, I guess.
That's the politically correct answer for all of you listening. But he's right. The conference has improved a ton across a lot of the throwing events. I know he said men's disc, but women's hammer, there's 2 women that broke the conference record a week ago, which is really cool to see. E-Town's got that female discus thrower that's thrown near 50 meters right now, so that's really cool. So seeing track at a really high level is what makes it fun, and I think that Champs is definitely geared up to be a really good meet this year. Coach Weir, what's the plan for you guys this week?
We're resting a lot of people going into conference, but we have a few people that will compete, a couple people that are trying to either get on the list for conference or are trying to improve times to get a better lane draw for conference. So we got a small crew going, but I am, like Coach Showstead said, looking forward to seeing everybody run and hoping that everybody has some good times. But I think that, if I have to say at least one person that I'm looking forward to, it's definitely Aiden. Like you mentioned, he had a pretty good meet. Things were starting to click for him at Moravian, had a really good 400, had a big PR in the 100. We're running him in the 200. I'm excited to see what he can do in the 200 because last year he was one of our top 2 guys, and I think that just hasn't quite clicked for him yet, but it's starting to click for him. So I'm excited to see what he can go run in that 200 and see if he can better a PR or get in a good place from a conference standpoint.
Yeah, I think that as we get closer to champs, I mean, Weir, you've been with me for 8 years now. I tend to get a little weird, and I start questioning everything that we do.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that a lot. And Aiden was on my list to potentially long jump him this week.
Yeah.
I think I might have talked myself out of that with the help of you. But it's always a stressful, couple weeks for me, because this is quote unquote where you make your bread, and I've been fairly successful in years past, with putting in good lineups. And a lot of people think, it's just track. You just run fast and turn left. Well, there's a lot more to it than that.
There's a lot. When
you're coming up with, who do you put in what event, especially with the 2-day meet format, if they make finals, is this too much? So we got a lot to work on over the next few weeks.
Yep.
I know from the distance standpoint, there's going to be some athletes that are, trying to solidify themselves in the meet with top 24. But I still have not gotten those entries from McGuire yet. He assured me they'd be in by today. So hopefully he gets those to me today, because entry's close tomorrow. But yeah, I think it's been a great year. I'm excited for the last, 4 or 5 weeks. And I'm excited for a break once we're done with that.
Yes.
But we got a lot of work to do. It's been a long spring for sure. But I do thank you guys for joining me today. I know this has been a little quicker than most episodes. Maybe I'm just getting more efficient with how I ask questions and how I get through things. But I thank you guys for joining me. This has been the JT Exchange Podcast, here where we talk about all that is SU track and field. If you like what you see, please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks.